The Korean movie Roaring Currents is writing new history in box office records every day. Aside from this, other Korean movies are also becoming box office hits. What is the secret to these Korean films? Following Avengers 2, filming of Star Trek 3 will also take place in Seoul. Will Seoul become a famous Hollywood movie location? And what is its economic implications? Satisfying audiences' five senses with various special effects, 4D movies have come under the spotlight. What is the core principle of the world's top Korean 4D movie technology? Preventing car collisions with a small wireless chip. We introduce you to wireless communications technology that prevents car accidents by detecting situations of the road and car ahead. Talks of Kim Jong-un's health problems were raised by his failure to make public appearances for a long time. In the meantime, high-ranking North Korean officials suddenly visit the South. Is this related to the rumors?
Hello, I'm Andrew Salmon and welcome to Bizline. Now, on 2nd of October, Asia's largest film festival kicked off down in Busan. And this week here on Bizline, we too are going to the movies. Because the historical battle epic Roaring Currents is surging across the Korean box office. 17 million people, it's 1/3 of all Koreans, have watched it. And it's not just Roaring Currents. A whole range of recent Korean movies have become smash hits. And this trend is rejuvenating the entire Korean movie sector. So, what's going on? Let's take a look.
The Korean movie industry is booming amid a growing possibility of admissions topping 100 million for 3 straight years. It has grown into a cultural industry that creates huge added value in the economy. We will explore the new renaissance of the Korean movie industry. Roaring Currents is a Korean movie that has recently hit the biggest jackpot. With a production cost of $13.8 million, the movie's admissions topped 10 million in the shortest period after its release. Currently, the movie has garnered a whopping 18 million admissions. It has generated huge spillover effects in society at large, leading to a syndrome of a great Korean man, Admiral Lee Sun-shin. Choi Min-sik, who played the lead role in the movie, has even advanced into Hollywood and is now being recognized as a global star.
누구냐 너?
Thanks to Roaring Currents' box office success, the Korean movie industry is viewed as having its third renaissance following the 1960s and 70s and 1990 to early 2000s.
산업의 규모로 보자면 전 세계에서 10위권을 차지할 정도로 굉장히 큰 시장이 됐고요. 할리우드 영화 시장 같은 경우 10년 전만 하더라도 일본 시장을 훨씬 더 중요하게 봤는데요. 최근 들어서는 한국 영화 시장을 훨씬 더 주목할 정도로 아마 산업적인 면에서 이 한국 영화가 굉장히 좀 최고 수준에 있다고 생각을 하고요.
Despite the flood of foreign blockbusters, Korean movies' admissions have been rising each year, surpassing 100 million from 2012. This year as well, Korean movies are likely to easily garner admissions of similar levels. The Korean movie industry has been growing sharply amid a series of releases of box office hits such as Masquerade and The Thieves since 2012. In 2013, box office blockbusters poured in as if the Korean movie industry rewrote its history. Compared to 2008, admissions have doubled, while the movie industry's revenue reached an all-time high of $1.76 billion. As if proving the success in the past 2 years wasn't a bubble, Korean movies continued to do well in 2014. Movies such as The Admiral, Roaring Currents, Hundo, Age of the Rampant, The Pirates, and Haemu were all in the upper ranks of Korean box office rankings, dominating local movie theaters. The strong performance of Korean movies stands out when we look at this year's box office results. Of the 10 movies with the highest admissions, 5 were Korean movies. The boom in the Korean movie industry doesn't just mean a success in the box office, it is clearly showing its real worth as a growing cultural industry. Amid upgraded movie quality, so-called well-made masterworks have been steadily released. From blockbusters to movies with unique subject matter, such various genres of movies are raising satisfaction of audiences. After exporting $37 million worth of films last year, the Korean movie industry hopes it can further make inroads into the global markets. By quantity or quality, it is clear that Korean movies have sharply grown.
한국 영화가 전 세계에서 주목을 받는다는 건 이 세계 3대 영화제가 칸, 베를린, 베니스 영화제거든요. 항상 그 사람들은 이 한국 영화들을 매년 와서 다 살펴보거든요. 근데 공통적으로 하는 얘기가 있어요. 한국의 영화들은 소재도 다양하고 장르도 다양하기 때문에 아무래도 이렇게 다양하게 새로운 면모로 보이는 이 국가는 한국밖에 없다는 얘기를 하거든요. 그럴 정도로 이 한국 영화가 굉장히 지금 다양하게 만들어지고 있는 건 이 세계 영화계에서 굉장히 지금 이례적인 현상으로 볼 수 있고요. 그렇기 때문에 아무래도 한국 영화에 많은 세계인들이 주목을 하고 있는 것으로 보입니다.
Surely, the Korean movie industry still needs to address many issues to grow into a proper cultural industry. From unified filmmakers and distributors, unequal distribution of films, large companies' monopolies, protection of rights and interest of staff to expansion of the independent movie market, we still have a long way to go.
한국 영화의 이제 내부의 어떤 그 산업적 그 기반을 보면 예컨대 독과점 체제가 좀 심화돼 있다. 대표하는 영화사, 제작사, 배급사가 좀 한정돼 있다, 쏠려 있다는 부분이 지적할 수 있고요. 영화 발전 기금이라는 게 있죠. 영화 티켓의 3% 정도 내는 한국 영화 발전을 위한 기금을 이렇게 공제하게 되는데 이 부분이 이제 올 연말에 만료가 될 겁니다. 근데 좀 더 국회라든지 사회적인 여론을 모아서 우리나라 영화의 어떤 예술 영화, 다양한 영화, 이런 좋은 영화를 북돋우기 위해서 이런 기본적인 국가의 펀드, 기금 정도는 좀 더 장기간 유지됐으면 좋겠습니다.
In the past, whether or not a movie received 10 million admissions was the barometer of its success. But with roaring currents, dramatic box office success, audiences and industry standards will further rise. If the industry can overcome obstacles systematically and develop further, Korean movies will be able to climb to a higher place.
글로벌 영화 상품으로 만들고 전 세계에 좀 뿌려나가는 이런 형태의 좀 큰 기획을 한다면 어떨까. 그렇게만 가능하다면 인도 영화의 볼리우드라는 브랜드, 그리고 스페인 남미 쪽의 텔레노벨라라는 자기 브랜드, 이런 거에 못지않게 한국에서 시작한 영화 산업이 세계적인 어떤 상품 브랜드를 명품 브랜드로 커나갈 수 있다, 이렇게 기대합니다.
The movie-like success that Korean movies have dreamt of is becoming a reality. Korean movies are writing a new history, and the global movie industry and spectators' eyes are on Korea.
Korean film fans were thrilled in April when segments of Hollywood blockbuster Avengers 2 were filmed here. Moreover, rumour now has it that segments of the latest installment in the popular Star Trek franchise will also shoot here. But so what? Why all the excitement? What do location shoots of international films bring to the local economy and to the local film industry? Moreover, do they burnish or tarnish the national brand? These are some of the questions we have for our guest today. He's a professor of film at Seoul Institute of the Arts, but he is not just a thinker, he is also a doer, he's a movie director himself. So Jae-young, welcome back to Bizline.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we only have our best guests on twice, so it's good to see you again. Firstly, bring us up to date. What are the big Hollywood movies that have or will be shooting in Korea locations?
Well, if you want to take it all the way back, there's a movie called Incheon that was done in the 80s.
Oh, that's a terrible movie.
About the Incheon invasion during the Korean War. That's one of the first Hollywood movies. It was actually bankrolled by a Korean.
The Unification Church.
Yes.
Yeah.
And recently, I would say movies like The Bourne Legacy, The Bourne Identity series.
It's a very, very short segment, as I recall.
Yes,
an
there's a scene
assassination
in a subway, leading up to an area in Gangnam. Yeah. So there's been that, and then it wasn't shot in Korea, but it featured this section called New Seoul, which is in the movie Cloud Atlas by the Wachowski brothers. And as you know, Avengers, the second part of the movie, was partially shot here.
Gotcha.
And I guess you have me here on the show, so Star Trek 3, as you mentioned, and also there's a TV episodic series being shot by the Wachowski brothers called Sense8.
So from Incheon back in, 80, 81, obviously things are much improved now, but let's talk about Avengers, because that sparked a huge amount of interest here. How much of the finished picture will actually show the scene shot in Seoul?
I read it somewhere in an interview that about 20 minutes of the movie will feature Seoul, but you never know with Hollywood movies, they may chop the whole thing out.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Now, rumor has it that about $9 million was spent on that perhaps 20-minute segment. Where is that money actually going in the local economy?
Before I answer that question, a lot of Hollywood productions are coming in to spend money here because there are incentives that the government and the city offers.
Yeah.
So when they come to spend the money, they're obviously doing it so they get part of that money back.
Yeah.
And in the stipulation to get the incentive money back is that you cannot spend money on yourself. For example, you can't pay your actors, etc. But if they're local actors, for example, Korean actors or Korean crew, you can pay for them. Also, there's a lot of travel expenses, bringing crew and people. You can use the fund to do that as well. And finally, I think it's the Avengers, so there's going to be a lot of demolition. So I think they're spending it, yes, on explosions, special effects, things like that.
Right, gotcha. Now, speaking of incentives, I believe it's the Korea Film Council which has this incentive program for foreign filmmakers. When did this actually start? I'm imagining this is fairly new.
Yeah, it's a recent program started by the government, and Korean Film Commission is one of the agencies of the government that utilizes that fund. There's also the Seoul Film Commission, which does that as well. So they're very similar in the sense that the stipulation on the Korean Film Commission is there's actually two funds available. One is for co-production. So if you're a Korean film company that has a partial money invested from a foreign source, you could recoup some of that money back by making a movie with a co-production. Or the other one is if there's a foreign company that wants to come to Korea and they have to spend of the budget they're going to spend shooting in Korea, 80% of it has to come from foreign sources. If that is proven with basically using all basically legal means to do so,
then they can access
the receipts and everything. Then they can access up to about 30% recoupment. So if you spent over, say, $2 million, you can get back about $600,000 in money. So this is a very good
program.
Too.
Yeah. And how does that compare with other incentive schemes? I mean, for example, every other movie I see seems to be shot in either LA, or New York. That's Hollywood. But presumably other destinations around the world have similar schemes.
Sure.
How do they compare?
Well, when you mention LA and New York, actually they're not being shot there. They're being shot in Toronto.
Is that right?
And Vancouver,
okay.
Yeah. Canada is a hot spot for a lot of movies going there because they kind of have a feel of the cities in the Americas.
Yeah.
And then, like New York or Los Angeles. And then they're offering basically these incentive programs. I'm not really sure of what the Western incentives are, but I know, for example, Singapore offers one, and I heard that it goes up to 50% recoupment on what you spent. And also New Zealand, Australia, and a lot of other countries have these kinds of things. Not only do they give you back money on what you spent, but they sort of encourage you to use it because they, for example, they'll offer travel expenses, which is huge. If you want to fly out a lot of crew, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it's all good, but beyond the actual location shooting, are Korean filmmaking skills being leveraged when international teams fly in? Or are they flying in just their own teams and then flying out again? So is this what I'm trying to get at? Does this actually help the Korean film industry itself?
In the short run, I would say no. For example, the Avengers, they brought their entire team. They did have a local crew that ran it, like the production crew that actually ran the day-to-day coordinations of things. But they had the main principal, people, for example, special effects or stunts, things like that, were all brought over from America or England, actually.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, it will help us because if there's more money being funneled into Korea as all these countries are coming in to use it, they will gradually start to use more of the local sort of crews and local, film industry people. And for example, CG and post-production.
Well, that's what I was about to ask
Mm-hmm.
you about. I mean, CG, general special effects, music, sound and stuff, are these being leveraged by external filmmakers? Because the Korean industry now has a pretty solid track record in these areas, right?
Right. I would say for Hollywood, for now, because the CG in Hollywood is being used, readily, you have pretty high standards there. So they're not really using, they're not sort of going outside of America to do that. But I would say countries like, for example, it's not just the U.S. making movies here. There's a movie, a Thai movie, a romantic comedy that was shot 90% in Seoul.
Okay.
And also there are a lot of Chinese movies that are either co-produced with Korean partners that are being shot here, partially and back in China. And what they do is they start to rely on the post-production facilities of Korea because Korea is very good with computer graphics, CG, VFX, things like that. So, for example, a big movie is Mr. Go, which was funded by, it's a Korean movie about a gorilla playing baseball, crazy. And it was partially funded by, Chinese entertainment industry. And a huge part of the CG was done in that company. And now that company is doing about 90% of its business with Chinese filmmakers.
Okay. Now, let's move away from simply the monetary and the technical side of it, and let's talk about a less tangible benefit, which is for the national image, the brand. When international movies are shooting here and showing Korean locations, how effective is this in promoting the image of Korea, perhaps as a tourism destination?
Oh, enormous. I mean, it's almost, you can't really calculate it or predict it, but I think the brand power image of Korea definitely is on the rise. And also, it's an indication that people are interested in Korea. For example, in the 80s, there's a movie Ridley Scott did called Blade Runner, which was primarily shot in Tokyo. They simulated Tokyo and Los Angeles. And so in the 80s, Tokyo was the high-tech city. But now in the 21st century, the city to go to is Seoul. Samsung, electronics, everything, phones. Right now, everybody in the world knows that we have, cutting-edge technology. So all these films are starting to feature sort of the future modern city, metropolis.
All this science fiction stuff, which is coming.
And it's kind of trendy now for Seoul to emerge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember in the Bourne movie you mentioned, there's a very, very short segment shot down in Gangnam, and as I recall, there is a subtitle running across the bottom of the screen saying Seoul, South Korea. But generally speaking, are the location shoots here going to actually be recognizable as Korea? Will they be identified?
I think so, because it's also the Korean wave. I mean, people know, when Psy wrote that song, Gangnam Style, and went viral, everybody was asking what Gangnam was about. And now, if you feature the area Gangnam, it's actually a cool thing to do, because everybody's like, oh yes, I'm familiar with that district, even though they don't really know what it is. So I think these films are starting to really just say, hey, we want to actually be co-branded with the image of Korea, because it's cool to be that right now. And also, I want to bring it back to that question when you asked, is it going to sort of give power to the Korean film industry? These funds, these incentives are primarily not to sort of bring money to Korea in terms of the film industry, but it's to actually promote tourism. So the money, the fund is from the Ministry of Tourism.
So basically this is a branding endeavor, more so than simply a movie industry endeavor.
So let's say the Avengers 2 comes out and it's a hit, which will most likely be. And then everybody around the world's like, I gotta go visit Seoul because it's in the in the movie.
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
Yes, that's the primary.
But I mean, that
does
also raise the question of if Seoul is being blown up or destroyed by a giant robot in the movie. Is that going to bring people here? Likewise, I mean, sure, if you shoot a romantic comedy in a city, it's going to make the city look pretty good. If you shoot a very gritty kind of thriller here, is that actually going to burnish or tarnish the image of the city?
Well, it's only my opinion, but I don't know if it'll tarnish it. I think modern audiences are pretty sophisticated. If you see a war picture, just because there's war in it, when you go there, there's not going to be a war. They actually want to go there to say, hey, I was in this fantastic movie where everything was blown up. I'm standing in the middle of the city block that was blown up,
and
here I am, and then get the selfie.
Sure, okay. Let's move on to the industry, Pan-Asia, and Korea's place in it. Now, the center of global economics is increasingly shifting toward Asia, but Hollywood still is very much dominant in film. Are we seeing any movement towards Asia in terms of international movies?
After the 2008 financial crash in the world, Hollywood's primary source is Wall Street.
Yeah.
And Wall Street just can't bankroll Hollywood anymore. So obviously they're going to start to go outside of America to look for investment. And right now, for example, Wanda Corporation, a big entertainment group in China, bought AMC, which is one of the biggest theatrical, companies in America. They own all the movie theaters, AMC theaters, and now the Chinese own that.
Yeah.
So they're looking to countries like China, Korea, East Asia for funding sources, and there are actually a lot of funds available right now that started out as local sort of funds, but they're starting to feel like, hey, we want to start investing in Hollywood movies. So there are a couple of funds in Korea right now that not just funds, but production companies like big corporations like CJ or Lotte, they're starting to look to Hollywood to try to invest in movies.
Gotcha.
But like anything else, investment isn't, you're not guaranteed.
It's a risky business, absolutely.
Yes.
When I look at Hallyu, I tend to think largely of pop and soap operas. They're tremendously successful across the region, no question, they're dominant. But what about films? How healthy are Korean films across Asian markets right now?
Well,
how central are they?
I think you pretty much nailed it. Film seems to be very particular. It's kind of, I think, whereas TV and music is something that you could quickly latch onto and then look for the next one. I think movies people kind of see movies, I think, in the 21st century as more like books, something to be savored, something to have more value. Even though they're popcorn movies, you have all these blockbuster movies that you go to see, but primarily people are seeing Hollywood movies for that. I think Korean cinema is still being seen as sort of a niche cinema where you have actors speaking in a particular language, and I think what we're going to have to start to do is Korean filmmakers have to start to make their content more diverse and palatable to, say, Chinese or non-Korean audiences. And I think these attempts will maybe expand this to make film maybe part of Hallyu, but as you said, film is not part of Hallyu as
right now
as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's hope for better things in the future, and it looks quite exciting right now. So Jae-young, thanks once again for being on Bizline. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Of the countless discount information provided by social commerce sites, you can't just get the information you want. The app of the week is Peli Commerce, a customized discount information alarm service app. Let's run the app and choose a category you are interested in. If you have picked a category, let's select specific brands you favor. You can choose any number of brands. Once you click on the I Want button, your registration is complete. You can now get just the information you want as soon as they are sent and shop in a smart way.
Movies may represent the ultimate in audio-visual technology, but even though they do indeed reach our emotions, they only reach 2 of our senses. Now that may be about to change, because we're now seeing the advent of 4G technology, a technology which reaches not just our eyes and our ears, but also our senses of smell and touch. And leading the global 4D wave is Korea.
With the arrival of 3D films, movies have become entirely a new watching experience. Now, 4D has amplified the experience by adding listening, smelling, and feeling sensation. Korea has introduced this new innovative film technology to the world. We will look into what exactly is theater experience in 4-dimension technology paid by Koreans that even Hollywood envies. Moviegoers anticipated the scene of a tornado in the Hollywood blockbuster disaster film Into the Storm that was released here early last month, not just because of the storyline, but because it was literally when the action started. The seats rattled with the splashes of wind and rain with roaring sounds of thunder and lightning piercing through the ears. In fact, you felt as if you were at the eye of the giant tornado. With flashing lights, rocking seats, gusts of winds hitting your faces, 4D has turned movie-watching experiences into a wild ride.
지금 현재 4D의 수준은 영화에서는 그 촉각, 그다음에 뭐 미각 이런 것들을 느낄 수가 있는데 의자가 옆에서 뭐 좌우로 흔들린다거나 아니면 물이 뭐 갑자기 나온다거나 또 냄새를 맡을 수 있다거나 이런 여러 가지 이 감각, 오감의 기술을 포함한 그런 정도까지 발전이 되고 있습니다.
The pioneer and leader in the 4D film technology and market is a company of our own. Since it was first introduced, 4D film in 2009, the company has recreated 60 big-screen movies in 4-dimension versions and released them in theaters all around the world.
전체 시장에서의 어떤 그 입장 수익을 기준으로 볼 때 전 세계 입장 수익의 약 0.5% 정도에, 그러니까 아직 규모는 좀 작긴 하지만 전체 시장 대비해서도 아직 의미 있는 수치고요. 한국에서도 전체 시장으로 보면은 이미 1% 이상의 박스오피스를 저희 4DX가 만들어내고 있다, 이렇게 말씀드릴 수 있겠습니다.
How is a 4D movie made? It requires a tricky and tiring work that on average takes about half a month to complete.
4DX workflow consists of 4 different stages, which are content approval, pre-production, production, and post-editorial. Upon content approval from studios, we receive the materials and start pre-screening process for content analysis. And the creative director, creative supervisor, and assigned editors and production manager come together to have a content meeting to discuss the creative directions for each project. And then I work on the direction notes to really communicate our editorial goals and themes with the studios.
Detailed programming is the key technology behind a 4D film. It combines the entertainment presentation system with existing film to synchronize with custom-built chairs and other physical effects.
4D 프로그래밍 작업이란 4D 효과를 영화에 가장 알맞게 넣는 것을 말합니다. 에디터분들이 여러 번 영화를 돌려보면서 저희가 가지고 있는 4DX 효과들을 관객이 영화에 잘 동화될 수 있도록 넣는 것을 말합니다. 이때 중요한 것은 영화를 볼 때 관객이 방해되지 않도록 영화의 분위기랑 컨셉을 맞춰서 잘 고려해서 넣는 것이 중요합니다.
The most physical experience stems from motion control that rocks and vibrates the chair. The effect bar in front of the seats shoots out air, water, and aroma. There are other machines in custom-built 4D theaters that let out fog and even bubbles. Each frame is recreated through 4D programming, and signal signs programmed into the scene set off physical effects when the movie is played. Through moving chairs, 4D can include audience in the scenes of a chase, fall, and explosions. Storms and lightning and even suns can be felt as if real.
지금 개발하고 있는 효과로는 비바람 효과가 있어요. 비바람 효과는 바람이 불 때 바람만 부는 게 아니고 거기에 이제 물이 같이 쏟아지면서 정말 태풍을 맞는 듯한 그런 효과를 느끼실 수 있고요. 그리고 석양이나 그런 노을이 질 때 그런 약간 노란빛이 도는 무드라이트를 느낄 수 있는 무드라이트 효과도 지금 개발 중에 있습니다. 그런 노란색뿐만 아니라 그런 붉은색, 푸른색도 같이 여러 가지 색깔들을 표현할 수 있어서 아마 굉장히 이제 관객들이 일체감을 느낄 수 있을 것 같고요.
These special effects are arranged and featured according to the taste of the audience in different countries and cultures. The company has expanded its 4D filmmaking technology to build 4D multiplex theaters in 2009. It plans to open 300 4D theaters around the globe by 2016.
저희가 지금 단계에서의 어떤 4DX 효과들은 아직은 완전히 완성된 단계다, 이렇게 말씀드리긴 좀 어렵습니다. 저희가 내부적으로는 두 가지의 어떤 R&D를 지금 진행을 하고 있는데, 한쪽의 R&D는 그 지금 있는 여러 가지 효과들을 어떻게 하면 더 이노베이티브하게 좀 혁신적으로 더 발전시킬 수 있을까, 이런 연구고요. 또 한쪽은 영화를 어떻게 하면 이 효과와 잘 표현되게 할 것인가, 저희만의 어떤 차별화 요소, 저희만의 노하우로 계속적으로 축적 발전시킬 예정입니다.
Korea is unrivaled in the 4D film technology, taking up 90% of the market. The technology is turning Korea into an iconic brand in the film industry.
4D 영화는 이제 영화에서만 구현되는 게 아니라 테마파크에서도 4D가 구현될 수 있고 또 군용으로 시뮬레이션의 어떤 여러 가지 모의 시험에서 4D가 많이 사용이 되고 있습니다. 또한 이제 게임이라든가 광고 등에서도 활용될 수가 있기 때문에 그 시장은 점차 확대될 거라고 보겠습니다.
4D film technology has entirely changed the movie watching experience. We may now have to say we're going to feel a movie instead of watching it. The technology has opened up an array of options in the movie industry, and Korea is at the forefront.
Many road accidents are a kind of chain reaction. A vehicle 2 or 3 cars ahead of us goes into D-control and causes a concertina of pile-ups that we then run into. So, if we could see the situation on the road 2 or 3 vehicles ahead, these kind of risks would be cut significantly. And indeed, a new wireless communications technology that enables exactly that is now evolving towards full commercialization. Let's take a look at its status and its potential.
About 5,000 people die in traffic accidents each year. As the number of vehicles which make our lives comfortable rises, car accidents are also sharply increasing. We introduce you to vehicular communications that dramatically reduces traffic accidents based on the convergence of vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-road communications technology. No one can predict what might happen on the roads. Secondary collisions continue to occur as the oncoming vehicles are unable to avoid the vehicle that has already collided with another vehicle. It is true that there isn't enough reaction time to stop your car in time after witnessing an accident of the car ahead on the road. The Electronics and Telecommunications Research Institute and a small Korean firm have recently developed a modern chip that enables vehicle-to-vehicle communications to prevent collisions between cars. This 18mm chip, which is even smaller than a coin, is used in the Wireless Access in Vehicular Environment, or WAVE. Designated as a standard by the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, WAVE is a communications protocol dedicated to vehicles. It embraces both vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure communications.
웨이브 통신은 와이어리스 액세스 인 비히큘러 인바이러먼트라고 해서 차량 환경에서 무선 통신을 통해서 사고나 문제가 있었을 때 메시지를 전송해서 미연의 사고를 방지하거나 주차 관리 그리고 톨게이트 서비스를 할 수 있는 그런 시스템이라고 할 수 있습니다.
When this small chip is installed on a room mirror or dashboard inside your car, it sends an alarm or a warning message at a speed of 6 megabytes per second to the oncoming vehicles within a distance of 1.5 kilometers when you suddenly stop your car or when other emergencies occur. The key to this technology is to overcome the radio wave circumstances in the urban driving environment or how accurately it can perform in a multipath fading environment. After testing the wireless chip in a vehicle running at 100 kilometers per hour in the 7-kilometer section of the Chungbu-Neryuk Expressway in Yeoju, Gyeonggi Province, the results showed reception rates of a maximum of 99.8% and a minimum of more than 90%. Researchers said V2V communications worked even when the vehicle was running at a maximum speed of 200 kilometers per hour. This will help drivers to promptly deal with dangerous situations in accident-prone dangerous expressways.
차량 간 통신을 통해서는 실시간으로 빠르게 도로상에서 어떤 위험 사항들을 갖다 주변에 있는 차량에 전달을 함으로써 미연의 사고를 예방할 수 있게 됩니다. 그 웨이브 같은 경우는 이러한 이제 안정성 외에도 다양하게 보행자나 이제 운전자, 그 밖에 도로 관리하는 분야에서도 굉장히 효과적으로 사용할 수가 있는데요. 연구 결과에 따르면 교통 혼잡의 한 30%에서 60%까지도 줄일 수 있다고 합니다. 그로 인해서 이제 도로 수송량이 증가가 되고, 그다음에 교통의 공해나 이제 연료의 감소도 상당히 획기적으로 줄일 수 있다라고 하는 거고요.
The smart highway system, which actually applied V2V communications, began its road test on Gyeongbu Expressway in July for the first time in the world. 9 wave-based stations that transmit and receive V2I communications and information between infrastructure and the center, 2 scanners that scan unexpected situations and collect information, as well as 4 road information radar scanners have been installed in the 11-kilometer section between the Seoul Tollgate and Suwon Interchange on Gyeongbu Expressway. When a broken vehicle is detected ahead, the system immediately informs this to the driver in the oncoming vehicle. It also informs drivers about falling objects, fog, frozen roads, potholes, or even information on the car ahead.
If a smart highway system is built, traffic accident can be reduced up to 80%. And also, traffic congestion can be relieved up to 15%. By implementing smart highway technology, its expected effect by solving traffic accident and congestion can be calculated into $2.8 billion annually.
Using WAVE, drivers will be able to prevent accidents and pay for tolls without stopping their cars. Korea's Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport targets to set up CITS, the next generation smart traffic system based on V2V communications, by 2017, and plans to test the smart highway system on more roads.
If wireless communication is stabilized and verified after a test load operation in 2 or 3 years, we have a plan to extend the smart highway system. It is expected that commercial service will be launched from 2017 through development of various applications.
The intelligent traffic system based on V2V communications is expected to dramatically reduce road accidents. Therefore, many advanced countries are considering studying its technology and introducing it for a trial. To enable the commercialization of the system, all the vehicles need to install communications terminals, so countries must require the installation of these terminals to complete vehicles by law.
이 기술은 자동차 한 가지만 중요한 게 아니라 자동차와 또 교통 인프라에 대한 거, 또 ITS라 그래가지고 지능형 교통 시스템, 이런 여러 가지 시스템이 연동을 하면서 융합 과학이라도 볼 수도 있거든요. 이러한 부분들을 통합적으로 할 수 있는 컨트롤 타워가 상당히 필요하고요. 또 여기에 걸맞는 법규 개정도 필요합니다. R&D 비용도 중요하지만은 이러한 시스템이 구현됐을 경우에 혹시라도 접촉사고가 생기거나 문제가 생길 경우에 이 사고의 주체라든지 또 관련 법에 대한 부분들도 근거 조항이 지금 아예 없기 때문에 이런 부분을 같이 맞춰가는 흐름이 상당히 중요하다고 볼 수가 있습니다.
From a real-time traffic guidance service to smart cars, information and communications technology, which is evolving day by day, is making a difference in many parts of our lives involving traffic. With the commercialization of V2V communications, the dream roads where there are no traffic accidents are expected to become a reality.
Since being filmed limping recently, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has not been seen in public for over a month. And this is feeding a whole spate of rumours about his state of health. Rumours which have been at least part confirmed by North Korean state media, which admit he's been suffering from some discomfort. Yet Kim is just 31 years old and lives a life of very considerable ease. Given all this, what might be the problem? What might have caused the problem, and how serious might Kim's condition actually be?
An unusually high-ranking North Korean delegation made a last-minute visit to the Asian Games in South Korea last Saturday, arriving on a private jet of their leader Kim Jong-un. The surprise visit, which was notified just a day earlier, was ostensibly to attend the closing event of the Asian Games in the port city of Incheon, where North Korean athletes performed their best ever and ranked 7th. But never had such top brass of Pyongyang's inner circle been in South Korea at one time in one place. Hwang Byung-seo is second to rank only after Kim Jong-un in the powerful National Defense Commission, and the Army's highest rank in charge of political and ideological indoctrination of officers. Choi Ryong-hae previously held Hwang's position and is believed to be third on the hierarchy. Kim Yang-gun is one of North Korea's top politicians responsible for South Korean affairs.
황병서 총정치국장을 비롯해서 북한의 최고 실세들이 내려왔다는 것은 결국 남관계 개선에 대해서 적극적 의지가 있다. 이것을 내외에 과시하는 또 무게감을 실어주면서 남관계 판을 북한이 주도하겠다. 이런 차원의 행보라고 볼 수도 있겠습니다.
During lunch with South Korean officials, the North Korean visitors proposed to hold high-level meetings later in the month or early November. Following a high-level meeting in February, South Korea had proposed a second round in August. North Korea had not responded until Saturday. So what's behind the sudden change of attitude?
북한 정권이 현재 목표한 어떤 강성국가나 주민생활 개선 등을 끌고 가기 위한 연장선상에서 이러한 대화를 먼저 제의한 것이다. 국제적 고립에서 벗어나려는 것은 북측의 당면 목표에 대한 어떤 결과로 보는 것이 바람직합니다.
The sudden visit by North Korea's second most powerful man and the reconciliatory gesture comes amid speculation about the whereabouts of Kim Jong-un, who had not been seen in public since early September. Since he succeeded to power after his father's death 3 years ago, Kim had been actively seen running the parliament, military, and social and cultural events. Then his appearances began to lessen from August and fell entirely out of sight after attending a concert on September 3rd. The last times he had been seen publicly, he conspicuously gained some weight and trudged with a limp. A pre-recorded documentary broadcast by state media showed Kim walking with difficulty. It was rare for North Korea to publicly admit that its supreme leader was suffering from discomfort.
다리 저는 모습 과거 김정일, 김일성 때는 절대로 안 했죠. 꼭 위대한 지도자, 신 같은 존재인데 아픈 것도 없는 사람. 아마 자신감을 첫째로 봐야 될 거예요. 난 젊었다. 아파도 다리 저는 모습 보이면 어때? 오히려 그걸 역으로 이용할 수 있어요. 이게 힘들고 불편하지만 나는 정말 적과 인민의 운명 때문에 이렇게 끝없이 현지 지도의 노고를 이어간다. 이거에 강조되고 있어요, 실제로.
Speculations heightened amid reports of foreign doctors arriving in North Korea to treat Kim. The first speculation is that he too may be affected by a sickness that runs in the Kim family. Both his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, and father Kim Jong-il suffered and died from heart-related illnesses. The younger Kim, although in his early 30s, may also be affected with a genetic predisposition.
이번에 지금 이제 외국의 독일이나 혹은 프랑스나 러시아 의사들이 들어갔다라고 하는 보도가 나오고 있는 것은 단순한 어떤 그런 그 정형 외과적인 치료 외에도 아마 그 혈관과 관련되어진 계통에 대해서 좀 더 정밀하게 그 상황을 진단을 하고 필요한 치료를 하기 위해서 외국에서 그 최고의 진료 의사들을 가지고 북한에 좀 받아들인 게 아닌가 이렇게 보여집니다.
Others argue the limp cannot be associated with heart problems. They speculate he may have been attacked. Earlier, there had been rumors on Weibo, China's version of Twitter, that Kim was deposed after an attack. Former Vice Marshal Cho Myung-rok was said to have been behind the coup.
조 명록은 이미 벌써 2010년에 사망한 사람이거든요. 그런 거를 봐가지고 그 어떤 그 인터넷상에서 좀 가십성으로 북한 내부에 정변이 발생했다. 김정은이 정치적으로 지금 그 좀 구금 상황이다 이런 얘기도 나온 것 같아요. 그래서 그건 좀 근거가 약한 것 같고요.
Another theory is that the young leader would have been under enormous stress since he ascended to power. He also could have faced greater work and distress after he executed his political mentor and uncle, Chang Sung-taek, in December last year.
지도자가 되고 난 다음에 핵실험도 하고 또 특히 이제 그 작년 12월 달에 가장 그 후견이라고 할 수 있는 장성택을 숙청하지 않았습니까? 그 과정 속에서 아마 상당한 그 스트레스를 받았을 것이다. 또 그런 것이 아마 그 어떤 업무 수행하는 데서 가지고 어떤 과부하를 가져다 줬고 그런 것이 여러 가지로 지금 이제 건강이 좀 나빠지게 된 직접적인 원인이 아닌가.
Kenji Fujimoto, who claimed to have been the Kim family's personal chef for 19 years, previously said in an interview the younger Kim, even as a teenager, enjoyed hamburgers and hard liquor and smoked heavily. His weaknesses to fast food, tobacco, and liquor could have led to gout, diabetes, and high cholesterol or blood pressure. During his recent visit, Kim Young-gun assured South Korean officials that Kim has no health-related issues. Questions about Kim Jong-un's health directly concern power status quo in a regime that runs on absolute dynastic system. They could suggest potential changes in the power structure of the world's most opaque regime. The unprecedented impromptu and brash visit by a group of senior officials only added to the mystery.
이제 김정은이 이렇게 몸이 이렇게 불편하다 싶으면은 누군가 또 그 일을 좀 나눠서 해야 될 그런 사람들이 생기지 않겠습니까? 그래서 이제 김정은을 둘러싼 측근 중에 어느 사람이 상대적으로 또 역할이 좀 서로 부여되어지는가 이런 부분을 좀 예민하게 잘 살펴봐서 그런 북한 내부 정세의 변화에 우리가 발빠르게 좀 이렇게 대응을 할 필요가 있다 이렇게 보여집니다.
The surprise top brass visit only heightened questions about Kim Jong-un's status and health. None of the rumors and reports can be confirmed, but it all suggests that all may not be well in Pyongyang, and we must raise our vigilance.
And that's all we have time for on Bizline this week, but do join us again next week. Because following Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Seoul in July, moves are now afoot to establish an offshore yuan trading centre right here. But can Korea become an offshore service centre for China? We'll find out next week. And in the latest development on Korea's educational mania, we'll also be meeting a group of pregnant women who are spending big bucks on prenatal education. So do join us next time. But that's all for now. I'm Andrew Salmon. This was Bizline. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.